Good morning. We are in my kitchen for another Tasty Tuesday, and this morning I'm sharing with you how to make Eggs Benedict. Probably the most popular brunch or breakfast item in the United States. Eggs Benedict was invented in the mid-1800s, and it was either invented at Delmonico's in Manhattan, or some people say it was the Waldorf Hotel in New York City. Either way, thank you, whoever invented Eggs Benedict. It's my go-to choice on a menu when we go out to breakfast, which hardly happens ever anymore. So I just thought I was kind of craving some Eggs Benedict, so I'm going to show you this really simple recipe. A lot of people kind of fear it. It's not very complicated, so I'm going to show you how to do it in a very simple way. So you can make hollandaise sauce in a more complicated way, but I'm showing you an easy, quick way. If I was having guests and having a fancy dinner, I would probably clarify the butter, do the hollandaise over the stove. But today I'm going to show you a way I learned on Pinterest, and it's really easy, especially if you have an immersion blender, which I happen to have. I have everything. I am kind of a crazy equipment person in the kitchen. So let's do this part first. 3 egg yolks, 4 teaspoons of lemon juice, and I have 1 stick of melted butter that's hot. Before I put in the butter, I'm going to use my immersion blender and blend the lemon juice and the 3 egg yolks. The heat of the immersion blender, just those centrifugal forces, is that the right term? Will add enough heat in here without cooking the eggs, but still warming them up. I actually had them at room temperature too before I put them in here. Because the hard thing about hollandaise is you don't want scrambled eggs, you don't want your hollandaise to separate, and if you're not clarifying the butter, you have to be really careful not to burn the butter. When you clarify butter, it takes away the milk solids, and so then the butter can be at a higher temperature. But I'm not dealing with clarified butter today. It's a little hard to do, and I'm just making a quick breakfast for me and Arnie. So, just using regular butter. Okay, now I'm going to slowly add the butter into this is actually my NutriBullet cup that I make smoothies in. You just need something deep like this that your immersion blender will go into. Almost there. It sure is a pretty color. And there you have it. 2-minute hollandaise sauce. So easy. Let's taste it. There's no reason not to make it like this all the time. Notice I didn't put any salt in here because I only had salted butter in the fridge. Normally I would make this with unsalted butter and add a little salt, but it doesn't taste too salty. So there's our hollandaise. We're going to set that aside for a second, and now we're going to poach the eggs. So I have my water heating up on the stove. I don't have it very high because you really don't want to boil your poached eggs. You want to just simmer them. I'm adding to the water just a little bit of apple cider vinegar, which helps keep the egg white part of the egg from expanding all over your pan. The other thing that helps, I'm going to show you how to do this. So I have this tiny little strainer here, and I'm putting the egg, breaking the egg into the strainer. Oops, there's my English muffin popping up. And by doing this, you get a little bit of those stringy pieces of egg white out of the egg, and that will also help kind of hold the poached egg together in the water. And then I'm putting this in a ramekin, and I've already done this with the other 3 eggs, and I will individually put them into the water so that they all will cook at the same time. If you're doing 1 egg, you can get this kind of whirlpool thing going in your pan, but if you're doing multiple eggs, don't do that. Just set them in the water very carefully. We want to have our water at about 185 degrees or no more than 185 degrees. Let's see if I can figure out where we're at. I think poaching the eggs, probably hollandaise is the most frightening thing for most people for making Eggs Benedict, but also people are often afraid of poaching the eggs. And did you know you can make poached eggs ahead of time, put them in the refrigerator, and then you can come back and just heat them up in a little bit of hot water. That's probably what most restaurants do. I've never actually worked in a restaurant kitchen, so everything I know comes from trial and error at home, as well as all the cooking classes I've taken around the world. Our water is at a simmer, and it's about 182 at the moment. I'm going to turn my Canadian bacon down, and now I'm slowly trying to keep this at a simmer. I'm going to slide each egg carefully into my pan. And actually, there's a little bit of ghosting of the egg white, but that's okay. The other thing restaurants do is they, when they take the egg out, they'll trim some of that off. I might try that. I don't usually worry too much about that. All right, so now we need 3.5 minutes for our eggs. I'm going to set this timer on 3 minutes. And meanwhile, I'll continue to watch everything else that's going on here. I'm going to turn my Canadian bacon off. Okay, our beautiful eggs are looking great. I forgot to mention I'm using 2 duck eggs today and 2 chicken eggs. My friend Dale gave me some duck eggs, and they're nice and fresh. And you really want to use fresh eggs as much as possible. My chicken eggs I bought yesterday, so there's my timer. All right, our eggs have been in the water. Our very fresh eggs have been in the water for 3 minutes. I'm going to carefully remove them to this plate with a paper towel. There's one. Oh, I don't want to break them. Ooh, they look nice. These 2 are trying to mate in here. Try to separate them out from each other. All right, there they are. Now, you know, they're not perfect, but they're good enough for me. And I'm not going to worry about trimming the whites. Can you see them? I'm just going to place them because I want to eat this while it's nice and hot. So I have put the Canadian bacon on the buttered English muffin. And now I'm going to place an egg on each one. Full Hollandaise sauce is ready. I'm going to have some leftover hollandaise sauce. You can put this in the fridge. It won't heat up as perfectly as this, but you can reheat it either on the stovetop or by just adding a little bit of boiling water to it. And I might do that. We're going out to dinner tonight, but I might do that for tomorrow. There it is. Oh, you know what? I like to put a little bit of green on the top. This is dried parsley, just to make it even prettier. There it is. Eggs Benedict, either from the Delmonico's in Manhattan or the Waldorf in New York City. Either way, thank you for inventing my favorite breakfast. And don't be afraid of it. It's really not that hard. I hope you'll try this recipe, and I'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.